Hi there, I'm Spira, and I'm about to show you all of the exercises that you need to do in preparation for TRE, which is trauma and tension release exercises. So stick around. Hi there, I'm Spira, and I have a video that I made a while ago now, that I think about it, and it's about TRE, which is trauma and tension release exercises. And this particular modality was created by Dr. David Berselli, who is now my teacher and my trainer because I'm becoming certified in it as well. And I wanted to make the video because I have been using this particular modality to treat my own trauma. And as you know, or may not know, trauma is in the body, and all the therapy in the world will probably not make it go away until you actually release some of it and get your nervous system back in order. So when I did the video a while ago, I started practicing this by myself. I didn't have any practitioners around me really. And also the way that he writes his books are very invitational. You know, he writes books and he makes videos and they're available to everyone. And if you suffer from trauma, it is recommended that you actually work with a practitioner because you can become dysregulated. However, if it's just to relieve chronic stress and tension, absolutely anyone can do it. Now, having said that, I actually started practicing this on my own for trauma without any help, but I'm also a yoga teacher and I've been doing yoga for a while, so I had some faith that I could figure it out, and I also know what dysregulation feels like and what to do just in case. So I took my chances, and you know, it's just been amazing, and I've been very fortunate in that I never get dysregulated when I do TRE, which is amazing, and my body just loves it. And it's actually gotten rid of my chronic pain, which I've had for, I know I'm dating myself, but 30 years. Yes, I've had chronic pain for 30 years, and I was in a couple of car accidents when I was a little bit younger, when I was like 19 and then 21, I think, and I just had so much pain from that because of the whiplash. And now that I'm older, I have cervical disc degeneration. I also have a little bit of scoliosis. So what's going on? Oh, and my shoulder. Yeah, so we have a list, right? I think we all have stuff that's going on, but because between my neck and my shoulder and the scoliosis, I get a lot of, or used to get a lot of muscle spasms on my right side, my shoulder blade area, and like down that side of my back. And I gotta tell you, when I practice TRE regularly, I don't have those muscle spasms. They go away. But if I slack and I don't do it for, I think it would take a few days to maybe 3 to 5 days, up to a week, and then all of a sudden I'll start feeling the pain again, and I'm like, okay, I gotta get on my mat and do my TRE. So you know, it's not just the chronic pain. It has changed my life, and I've been doing a lot of different modalities for my trauma healing in particular. But there's something about this one that I feel like it really, how should I put it? It really made a difference in my brain coming back online. That's the best way that I can describe it. Now, whether you know much about trauma or not, one of the effects of trauma is that it's actually a brain injury, you know, and the effects are very similar to a traumatic brain injury. In fact, it might even be included in the traumatic brain injury category if I'm not mistaken, but I may be mistaken. But yeah, so it causes a lot of damage via the limbic system, and one of the effects is that your prefrontal cortex starts to kind of shut down. And the prefrontal cortex, I do this because it's actually in the front of your head. This is where it is, behind my skull. And the prefrontal cortex is responsible for executive functioning and decision making and a lot of important things. So a side effect of trauma is what we call brain fog, and that is when you just feel like your brain is not working. So after my big breakdown that I had, I don't know what to call it. I call it my big breakdown. I don't know. But after that had happened, I couldn't think straight at all. I could barely get a sentence out. Right now, even when I'm talking to the camera, I'm feeling like my words are coming pretty easily. I might stumble here and there. But when all of this, when the breakdown first happened, and that wasn't anything, and the breakdown wasn't necessarily the trauma. The breakdown was a result of me living my whole life without treating my trauma. So eventually everything got to me and my nervous system just couldn't take anymore. I was literally living in survival mode for years, my friends. My brain wasn't working for years, and it just got progressively worse, and it really affected my work as a teacher. I was teaching in public schools. I guess what I want to say is that I'm not completely online yet. Like, I'm not completely healed, and I'm not sure that there is such a thing as being healed from trauma. However, there is such a thing as healing, and healing successfully, and being much better than I was before. So comparatively speaking, much better. Right, so after a while of doing this by myself, I didn't know the exercise because I hadn't actually read his book. What I did to learn how to do TRE was I watched a video, and I don't even think they went through all of the exercises. So anyway, that brings me to here now. Now I'm training to be a TRE provider, in addition to being a certified yoga teacher and yoga therapist. And I'm just going to add it to my arsenal, and now that I know the exercises, now I can share them with you. So there is more about the TRE and my personal experience if you're curious, and that is another video that I made, and I will include at the end of the video. You'll see a link to get to that video so that you have something to reference. But for now, I'm just going to take you through the exercises. Anyway, let's get started. So the first exercise is very simple, and it's really just to enliven the nerve endings in the feet. And then we're going to progress from the feet. We're going to move up to the calves and the thighs and the glutes. So stick with me, we'll go through all of them. They're very simple. So the first exercise, you'll just stand with your feet apart, maybe shoulders width apart. It's up to you. And we're very simply going to lean on one side. So right now I'm on the outer edge of one foot and the inner edge of the other foot. And I'm going to take an inhale and exhale. And then I'm going to swing over to the other side. And another inhale and exhale. I'm going to go back and forth a few times. You can either follow along with me, or you can do it at your own pace. And basically, I'm going to do it 5 times on each side. So this is my third. What's interesting about this process is first we get the nerve endings going, and then we start to fatigue some of the muscles in the legs, as well as to stretch some of the muscles in the legs and the glutes. Because when you are going to practice TRE, it's really a good idea for your muscles to be a little bit fatigued and also stretched so that they can relax. Because when you're ready to tremor, your body needs to be in a certain level of relaxation, because sometimes we can also get stuck in our heads and then we're waiting for that tremoring to start and it just doesn't start. So the series of exercises should conceivably get you in a place where you'll be able to practice. So just do these exercises, and then hopefully you'll get to tremor, and you can let me know in the comments how it went. The next exercise we're going to do is to fatigue the calf muscles. Now, if you have strong calves, this might take a little while. I like to keep a block nearby just in case, but basically, you can use the wall for support, and you're going to bring your weight onto one foot and bend the knee of the opposite leg. And then you're going to come up onto your tippy toes and slowly lower the heel towards the floor, and then raise it again and then lower it again. And you are going to repeat this process until you feel like a 7 out of 10 in your calf muscles. So 10 being really fatigued, really achy. And so you want to bring your awareness there and just kind of notice it. This actually takes me kind of a while because I have really strong calves. I'm not sure how I got them. It's just always been like that. So I actually, because my calves are strong, when I lower my heel, I don't lower it all the way to the floor, and it helps me fatigue a little bit faster. And then when you get to that, a 7 out of 10, you'll just switch sides. So you'll do it on the other side, and when you're done, once again, you need to shake everything out. So make sure you shake it out really good. And then we'll move on to the next one. Okay, so the next exercise is to fatigue the quads and the glutes. A couple of different ways to do this, and the easiest one would be to just come into a simple chair pose. Now, some people like to hold onto the wall and maybe take one foot back so that all the weight is on one leg, but you can do it just as easily here. Your arms actually don't even have to be out. You can keep your hands on your thighs if you'd like. I keep my hands out because I think it's better for balance, and because I'm a yoga teacher, so for me this is chair pose. And you want to bring the weight to the back of the foot here. So I'm resting all my weight on the heels of the feet. I can definitely feel my quads working right now. And you want to do something similar to what we did last time. Is if a 10 would be absolutely fatigued and exhausted, we want to take it to a 7. So we're going to stay here until we get to about a 7. When we're finished, we'll come up to standing and again shake out the legs. The shaking is important. Don't forget to shake out the legs. So try that out and see how it goes. And then the next exercise is to stretch the inner thighs, so the adductors. So we're going to stand with our feet a little bit apart. I'll stand this way so you can see me better. And then I'm going to fold forward, hinging at the hips and just letting my head hang down. And I'm going to take 3 full deep breaths here in the center. Now, I'm not going to stay here the whole time and count. I'm just going to give you the instructions to make it easier for you. So after the 3 breaths, you're going to move over to one leg, and you'll do that again. And you'll feel that stretch in here. Again, 3 full deep breaths. And you can keep the legs even wider if you'd like. And then we'll go to the opposite leg for 3 full deep breaths. Notice I'm keeping my knees bent. This knee is just slightly bent. This one is more bent. 3 full deep breaths here. And then back to center, 3 more full deep breaths. And then to come up, we'll just kind of come up halfway. You can bring your hands to your thighs and just come up nice and slow. So the next exercise is going to be sit against the wall, and we want to fatigue the upper thighs. So we're fatiguing the quadriceps. We did this a little bit earlier with chair pose, but this one's going to be more intense. So you want to make sure you can see your toes. And we'll just stay here and just, I guess, dip down low enough to where you can start to feel the burn. And we'll do the same thing we did before, and basically all that is just going to stay here and breathe and bring awareness to your thighs and notice when the fatigue starts to happen, and notice when it comes to about a 7 out of 10, and that's when then we'll be finished. But you can play around with the heights, maybe if you come into fatigue too fast, maybe even just come up a little bit and then maybe wait and see what happens. So try this out, and when you are finished and you've come to a place where you feel like you've got a good fatigue happening, we'll just come up against the wall again or press off from the wall and shake it out. Definitely always have to shake it out. So now I'm going to show you the final position, and hopefully you'll get to start tremoring from here. So we're going to lay on the mat,
We're going to bring the feet together and just allow the knees to fall apart. And we stay here for about 1 minute. And you will feel a little more stretching in the inner thighs. Then after a minute, you're actually going to lift the hips up off the ground from here. And hold this for about a minute. Now, I'm not going to hold it the full minute because I don't want the video to take too long, but you'll know when it's about a minute, and then we're going to come back down and rest here for 1 more minute. After a minute of rest, then you're going to keep pressing the feet together and start lifting the thighs up off the mat. And you can take this in increments, so you can stay here about a minute and breathe, and then lift them up a little higher. So you can see that mine have already started to tremor. And you know, if you've done this before, it's fine, you can jump right in, but if you haven't, it might be nice to just stay here and feel that, experience that, see, you know, what's going on. It's definitely a little bit strange at first, especially if it's your first time. But after a while, you might actually like it. So then you just keep coming higher. Now you can see mine are ready to go. So when they are ready, you're actually just going to put your feet flat, and then the legs will start moving on their own. So I am not doing this consciously. My body is doing this. So it's really interesting because the body has its own mechanism. And so there's a lot of trust that happens when we do this. You have to trust that your body knows what to do. Now, in the beginning, you might only get some movement in the lower half of your body, in your legs. But as you continue to practice, the tremors can move up the body into the shoulders and the neck, even the arms, and even the hands. So it does take some time to get there, and there are other things that you can do to encourage the tremors to move into different parts of the body. But for now, if you're a beginner, this might just be enough. And what you want to watch out for is, for some people, it might be too much right off the bat. I'm really lucky. For me, it wasn't. I took to it like a fish to water. I've just loved it from day one. But if you are a trauma survivor and you're using this for specifically to heal trauma, you know, you might bring up a lot of emotions right away. And if it feels like it might be a little bit overwhelming, straighten your legs. And when you straighten your legs, the tremor should stop. If they don't stop for any reason, maybe try turning over to one side and see if that helps. But they should stop. Usually they stop. Now you can do this as much or as little as you want, and I'll show you what it looks like to move up the body, because I was stopping it before because I wanted to be able to move the video. So you do have some control. It's a matter of letting go to let the tremors really, really work through the body. But you can stop it if you want to. I mean, let me see if I can stop the whole thing. Okay, so I'm stopping myself. But if I let myself go and relax, it'll just kind of kick in again. So you'll see for me, it's already going up my spine, and my head and my neck are moving a little bit too. You know, my arms right now aren't into it, but sometimes they do when I'm at home. I remember one time I had this whole sort of dance going on where my hands were like into it as well. This I'm doing on my own, right? It was really neat, actually. And then I remember one time my hands kind of popped up and they were doing these like twirls. That was really neat too. So what I recommend when you start to do this is just be curious. Let me stop for a minute so I can talk. And so, you know, when you do a full session, and a full session can be anywhere from a minute to 20 minutes to more, it just depends on you. I think the average is about 10 minutes or so. And when you do finish, you'll stay here. The integration part is really important. And integration simply means allow your body to take all that information, whatever just happened, and allow all of that to get integrated in the brain and processed. It's really the most important part is the integration. So after you stop tremoring and you take a rest, you can even turn to one side and rest a little bit longer. I prefer doing this myself. I always take a nice little rest and then just slowly come up. So what I wanted to say earlier was, trusting your body and trusting the wisdom of your body to know what to do and to know what you need. It can be scary at first, but then afterwards it's actually really fascinating. And for me, it's just been this incredible experience every single time I do it. It's always different. It's always like a little dance. And it's really neat to just kind of sit back as a witness and witness my own body doing its thing. Our bodies are designed for this. This is a completely natural process. Other animals do this all the time. If you've ever seen two dogs meet for the first time and maybe one's a little anxious and then afterwards they shake from their head to their tail, it's the same thing. They're literally releasing stress and tension from their body. So we have the capacity to do this, and it seems crazy to me that somehow we've forgotten, or maybe we've just been conditioned to think that we can't for whatever reason, or that it's embarrassing, or whatever it is, however it happened. But we can change it now. We know that we have access to this, and it's pretty amazing. And in my opinion, it's miraculous, because it's definitely changed my life in ways I just can't even begin to imagine, to describe. All I can tell you is how happy I am, how much happier I am than I was, and how I feel more control in my life. I feel like my brain is working better. I feel like everything is just working better. So that's it for TRE. You just got the whole thing. You got all of the exercises. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments below. Let me know if you've tried the exercises. If you've tried the tremoring, that's a big step. So I'd be curious to know your thoughts. And if you liked the video and you found it helpful, please share it. If you share it, then other people get to see it. And if you hit the like button, I think it comes up in the search bar or whatever, search function. I don't know. I don't know, I'm learning. And if you want to see more videos like this, I often make videos about yoga. First of all, I just do yoga videos specifically, but also educational videos about yoga and trauma healing, because I'm a trauma survivor. So it's really important for me to be able to share all of the modalities that I've been using in my own healing process. I've come a long way, and I'm so proud of myself, and I'm just proud of the work that I've done, and I love the way I feel, and I definitely feel like my old self and my happy, goofy self, which is the person that I was in and out of the traumas, And so yeah, I'm here to share it all with you, and I hope it's helpful. And if I can help even one person find some relief and some healing from their trauma, that's my life. I'd be so happy. So please let me know if it helps you, because it is important to me. It really matters. I wouldn't even bother making these videos if it wasn't important to me. So thank you again for joining me, and I hope to see you again, and I hope you sign up to watch more videos. And namaste.